They are meant to be the quiet leaders, the lone wolves who have figured out how to succeed. But here's a question that no one is asking: what are the true consequences of being a Sigma? We are unmasking the reality and exploring the dark truths that no one is discussing. Forget the excitement of being the ultimate lone wolf. We are taking a realistic look at what it truly entails to be a Sigma in a world that doesn't quite understand you. Do you think it's all about easy charm and mysterious allure? Think again. There is a downside to this lifestyle, from struggling to connect in a world of shallow conversation to the constant battle between ambition and fitting in. We're being completely honest, no sugarcoating. Whether you consider yourself a Sigma or are simply trying to comprehend one, this video will enlighten you. Let's ignore the distractions and focus on the core of what being a Sigma truly entails: the good, the bad, and the ugly. Sigma males are recognized for their high level of honesty, even if it may upset others. They do not shy away from expressing their true thoughts without any sugarcoating. While this may seem ideal, it can result in awkward situations. Sigma men are not being intentionally hurtful. They are simply conveying the truth. However, most individuals are not accustomed to such direct honesty, preferring instead gentle lies and diplomatic responses. When someone reveals a harsh truth, it can feel like a surprise, and they may not understand why others are upset. They believe that being honest is important and don't see the need to sugarcoat or protect someone's feelings by hiding the truth. This can lead to difficulty in relationships, and they might come across as harsh even when they are correct. Some may prefer the truth to be given in a more gentle way. A bow on top is not the way Sigmas operate, especially when it comes to important matters. They skip the unnecessary details and get right to the point. While they may not intend to be harsh, their honesty can be painful at times. In a society that values emotional sensitivity, Sigma men may struggle to fit in. It's a fine line. On one hand, their straightforwardness can be helpful. Sigma males are known for being straightforward in a society where many are fake. However, this honesty can sometimes make them seem cold or uncaring. It's a challenging aspect of being a Sigma male. Another common perception is that they are secretive, but in reality they just dislike having to explain themselves. This is a struggle that many Sigma males can relate to. You may have heard people label Sigma males as mysterious and secretive, but this is not always true. Sigma males are not attempting to be enigmatic. They simply dislike the idea of having to clarify every little detail about themselves. It is not that they are keeping some deep secret or have a hidden motive. They just find it exhausting to constantly explain their thoughts, actions, or choices. Consider how many times you have done something that seemed logical to you, only to be bombarded with inquiries. Sigma males find these questions to be draining. Sigma men are compared to nails on a chalkboard because they prefer to conserve their mental energy and time. They operate differently from others and struggle to explain themselves to anyone else. This can lead to them being seen as mysterious or complicated instead of being left alone. People are curious about them and often make their own assumptions to fill in the blanks. And then he really is, but he's not trying to. It can be hard for him. He's simply trying to avoid what he views as unnecessary explanations. It's not secretive, just efficient to them. However, when people want constant communication, this quality can be a challenge. Another thing is that they dislike casual conversation but can't avoid it, those uncomfortable chats that don't serve much purpose. You find yourself stuck in a discussion about the weather or what was on TV last night, feeling trapped as your mind screams for something more intellectually stimulating, but you're stuck. And as a Sigma, this is pure torture you crave. depth, meaning, and ideas that challenge you, but you can't escape it. It's the oil that keeps the social machine running. Smoothly try to avoid it, and you're labeled as antisocial. Struggle through it, and you feel like you're wearing a mask, playing a part in a play you never audition for. This isn't just about being introverted, it's about feeling like you're wasting precious time and energy that on interactions that feel empty and meaningless. You want to connect, but not like this. You want to dive deep, but the world seems happy to stay in the shallow. And so you're stuck, caught between your need for genuine connection and the social niceties that grease the wheels of everyday life. It's exhausting, it's frustrating, and it's a constant reminder that you're operating on a different wavelength from most people around you. Number 4, their confidence looks like arrogance to most people. When you're a Sigma, people often mistake your quiet confidence for arrogance. They see you as someone who doesn't need anyone, as if you're above it all, when in truth you're simply comfortable in your own skin and don't feel this need to constantly prove yourself. You're not arrogant, you just know your worth, and that can make people uncomfortable. The problem is that most people aren't used to this level of self-assurance. When a Sigma walks into a room, he's not trying to impress anyone, he's just being himself, but to others it can come off as cocky or arrogant. The Sigma man might disagree with his boss without hesitation, or confidently present that different idea than the rest of the group. This can make others feel intimidated or even threatened. They might think he is trying to show off or be a rebel when he's just speaking his mind without fear of judgment. He's not being disrespectful, he just believes in his ideas, but to the boss and co-workers, it looks like the Sigma thinks he's better than everyone else. Or take dating. The Sigma man might not chase after women or play hard to get. He'll be honest about his intentions and doesn't feel the need to impress or flatter anyone. This can come off as indifference or arrogance to potential partners who are used to the traditional dating game. He's not playing games, he's just being himself. The thing is, Sigma men aren't trying to put anyone down or show off. They're just secure in who they are. But in a society where many people are battling self-doubt, this kind of confidence can be intimidating. This misunderstanding can lead to Sigma men being labeled as weird or loners. People might avoid them or talk behind their backs, which only reinforces their natural inclination to keep to themselves. It's no wonder they often feel like outsiders looking in at a world that doesn't quite understand them. It's a tough line to walk, but it's part of the Sigma journey. Number 5, they can lead a team, but hate being in the spotlight. 6 men have this weird relationship with leadership. They've got the skills to run the show, but they'd rather not be center stage. It's like they're born with this natural ability to take charge, but they're not out there gunning for the top spot when a project's going off the rails or there's a crisis. That's when you'll see a Sigma step up. They've got this calm, collected vibe that just works. They can cut through the chaos, figure out what needs to be done, and get people moving in the right direction. It's not about marking orders. It's more like they just know how to make things click, but once the job is done, they're ready to fade into the background. They don't need the praise, the spotlight, or the fancy title. They just want to get stuff done and move on. It's not false modesty. They genuinely don't care about the recognition. This can throw people off. Most folks are used to leaders who want to be seen, who crave that attention, but the Sigma man isn't interested in the ego boost. He might be the last person to speak in a meeting, or the one quietly solving problems while everyone else is arguing. It's not that they can't handle the tension, they just find it draining. All those team building exercises, motivational speeches, and leadership seminars to a Sigma, that's pure torture. They'd rather lead by example through actions instead of words. People often respect a leader who is not in it for the glory, but it can also cause issues. Team members might feel like their leader is distant or uninterested. Higher the PUPS might overlook him for promotions because they're not putting themselves out there. How do you lead effectively without getting sucked into all the parts of leadership you add? It's a balancing act, but when they get it right, Sigma males can be some of the most impactful leaders out there, even if they're not the ones you see in the spotlight. Number 6, they're good listeners. Look terrible at opening up. Sigma men have this weird mix going on. They can sit and listen to you spill your guts for hours. They'll not ask the right questions and really get what you're saying, but when it comes to their own stuff, total lockdown. It's not that they don't trust you, it's just how they're wired. Sigma and process things internally. They'll turn a problem over in their head 100 times before they even think about saying it out loud. This makes them great friends when you need to vent. They don't jump in with advice or try to fix everything. They just listen, and people love that about them. But when it's their turn to open up, it's a whole different story. Ask a Sigma how he's doing, and you'll probably get a fine or okay. Try to dig deeper, and it's like hitting a brick wall. It's not about being secretive. Sigma men just don't see the point in talking about their feelings or the problems. They figure they can handle it on their own, so why bother anyone else? This can make relationships tricky. People might feel like these guys don't trust them or are hiding something. However, they're just not used to verbalizing every thought and emotion. They're more comfortable dealing with things on their own, which can make them seem distant or unapproachable at times. Opening up feels like showing weakness they're used to being. Self-reliant, so asking for help or sharing their struggles doesn't come naturally. Number 7, questioning the useless rules can create conflicts at work. Sigma men are not rebels without a cause, but they can't stand pointless regulations or unnecessary bureaucracy. This trait can be a double-edged sword. And at work, when they see a rule that's slowing things down or making no sense, they're not afraid to speak up. They'll question it, challenge it, and often come up with a better way to do things. Sometimes this works out great. They might simplify a process that's been causing headaches for years, or they'll find a workaround that saves the company time and money. That's when Sigma men are seen as innovators who push the business forward. But it's not always easy. A lot of workplaces run on tradition, and that's how we've always done it. And mentality. When a Sigma questions these long-held beliefs, it can upset a lot of people. Managers might see them as troublemakers. Co-workers might think they're trying to show off or make everyone else look bad. HR might get involved if the Sigma pushes too hard against established policies. It's not that these individuals don't respect authority, they just respect results and efficiency more. They're not questioning rules for the sake of it. If a rule doesn't make sense to them or active gets in the way of doing good work, why keep it? This attitude can lead to some tense situations. Many Sigma men might find themselves in hot water for ignoring protocols they see as useless, or they might get frustrated when their suggestions fall on deaf ears, so they have to pick their battles wisely. They need to figure out when pushing back is worth it and when it's better to play along. It's about finding ways to improve things without coming across as a constant critic. People don't always like being told they're doing things wrong, even if it's for the greater good. Number 8, their mind is always racing, making sleep tough. It's not uncommon for Sigma men to function on less sleep than most people. For many Sigmas, a good night's sleep feels like a rare luxury. Their active mind, which serves them so well in many areas of life, becomes their biggest enemy when it's time to rest. Their brains never seem to shut off. It's like they've got a 247 thought factory running up there when everyone else is winding down for the night. Their minds just getting started. They'll lie in bed and suddenly remember that thing they forgot to do at work, or a conversation they had earlier that day will replay in their head over and over. They'll come up with new ideas, make mental to-do lists, or just find themselves lost in thought. It's a non-stop roller coaster of thoughts, plans, and analysis. This mental hyperactivity can be a real pain when it comes to sleep. Nights often turn into a battle between their racing mind and their need for rest. They might toss and turn for hours or give up and start working on projects at 3 a.m. This constant mental activity isn't all bad. It's often the source of their creativity and problem-solving skills. But it comes at a cost. Lack of sleep can leave them feeling drained during the day, even as their mind keeps churning.